I'm Andrew Berger here with Professor Ukumbwa Sauti of Media Studies here at Franklin Pierce University, and he has agreed to answer a few questions for us today. Thank you for willing to do this, Professor Sauti. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Thank you.
First question: in what way would you say has the Obama administration affected African culture here in the United States?
Well, I think first of all, the concept of there being a black or African president in the United States has been something that's been part of the, I'll call it the African lexicon here in the states, and has been an idea that has been bandied about because the presidency represents power in the United States. So there's been what I would call a positive connection to that as a possibility. I think African people in general are still, or maybe just over that hump of, the initial gasp of oh my goodness, it happened, that kind of thing. And I think we could see that in the prevalence of a lot of 90-year-olds coming to the either to see him or to be at the inauguration, things like that. There were a number of stories that came to mind about that. So there are people that have been holding on to this eventuality for a long time. And I think we're hearing, and I'm hearing from friends and acquaintances that, that there's a really deep emotional connection to this, that it does signal something back to the culture, back to the people about their self-worth. To see a person who looks like that in that office is important to them, and in their own self-image. And there's statements made around his presidency that now that he is president, I know I can do anything. I can become president. That kind of thing. Now we can also take that in a negative regard too. If that is the only expression of power that African people have within this country, that is somewhat limiting. If we don't look at other ways, in a communal, regional way, in spiritual ways, which actually is very strong in the African community, spiritual leadership. But if we don't have a diverse sense of political leadership, or if we don't have a sense of leadership and embrace of power and agency outside the boundaries of the United States, because obviously our heritage is one of coming from another place, coming from Africa. So if we don't have that as a sense of, well, that's part of our power, then I think to look solely upon the presence of Obama in the White House, that can be a negative thing, and can be misleading in a cultural way for African people.